All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Collective and the Weekly Collective as well. I thought you would enjoy a little bit of FaceTime here with Apollo, who just came back from his walk and is well fed and super happy. Anyway, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We are here to take a look at the next 7 days together. And as you can see, there's a lot that we're going to go through, from a 7-day forecast to an elemental breakdown, and a special topic today, which definitely has been coming through in dreams, which is messages from your higher self. And I kind of knew that this was going to be the topic before we got started, because in dreams, what I saw was basically Spirit saying, write an introduction like you were meeting yourself for the first time. So we'll talk a little bit about that and get into the channel messages. So I begin all of my readings with basically dream interpretations. And this is another method in addition to using the cards that I use to download. And this morning, as I was doing just that, it was kind of like I was going through lessons in my dream space. So let's talk about this. By the way, everybody's welcome to this reading. There are a couple of sections that are specific to signs, but everything else is for you if you joined anytime, live or on replay. So the first message from Spirit was to basically reintroduce yourself. And this is kind of like a chance to wipe the slate clean a little bit here. And then we'll go into some of the other messages. So basically, I was given a sheet of paper by a guide, and I was asked to write a positive sort of introduction. And imagine, for instance, you had to introduce someone at a presentation, or you were introducing yourself to someone at a restaurant or a bar to say hello, like on a first date. You would lead with positive energy. And leading with positive energy isn't always easy, because we are often taught to go to the negative. Yes, there are always things that we can work on, but for today, for this moment, for this week, because we're looking at 7 days here, Spirit is challenging you to look at the positive from these questions, like who are you, what do you stand for, what are your best traits, and also like how far have you come to get to this moment in time. And if you can celebrate some of the progress, some of the positivity in any or all of those areas, then other people can start to see the potential as well. And it starts to open up, just new doors and new windows of abundance for you as well. I chose temperance here because you don't have to go like over the top. It's really just about objectively looking through the lens of your life and saying, this is the best of what I have to offer, and lead with that. If there is something constructive and critical that you're working on, that's fine, but it shouldn't be the main thing. And back when I used to do readings for clients, I would use that analogy saying, imagine you met yourself for the first time. You wouldn't necessarily, like at a bar or at a restaurant or in a social engagement, you wouldn't want to lead with the problems. You would want to lead with the fact that you're solving the problems or aware of them and working on them. So for someone that might be going through divorce, you can say, I'm finally starting to take care of myself and prioritize happiness. And I'm going through a challenging situation, but I'm so happy that I know what I want. So yes, there's a separation happening, but it doesn't define you. The defining piece is you made up your mind to move forward, or you're dealing with the fact that someone else wants to, and now you're going to focus on healing. So it's all in how you frame it. So anyway, that's what this is about, is framing it in a different perspective. So I like that because it was a technique that I used to use once upon a time. All right, so the next piece was this metaphor of moving forward, and I was shown particular stops on the major arcana, that you would have to take a look at. So kind of like in the Matrix, I was on a liminal space train station, and I was listening as someone else, ostensibly you, was saying which stops they wanted to take. And I woke up and wrote them down so that I wouldn't forget. And it was 2, 9, and 15. And that's the High Priestess, the Hermit, and the Devil. And so these are steps to a breakthrough or an opening or an opportunity for you. So the first two are very good. The third one is going to be the potential block, but you're going to see it coming a mile away because of the first two. So High Priestess is awareness, awakening, your third eye. So trusting your instincts are going to be so important this week. Don't second guess yourself. The Hermit is doing some research and introspection. Know who you are know what your buttons are so someone else can't push them. If you know what kind of like is an issue with you, and you overcome it, or you're aware of sort of like temptations and things like that, by the time the devil comes through, it's like, yeah, that doesn't work. I know what you're trying to do. And so it's really preparation for all of, for overcoming a fear and then getting through the gates to the next thing. So I thought that these were pretty cool, and I was given specific numbers, which I'm not always given either. Also take a look as we go through, next month, really, because these are lower numbers. There may be some significant points where, as we look at December, the 2nd, the 9th, and the 15th may be important to you. You can even reflect upon this month and see if there was anything pivotal. This could also be time, so it could be a couple days, like 2 days, 9 days, or 15 days. Anyway, I wrote it down. I very rarely get specific numbers, and I thought this was pretty special for you, okay? Even if there's something challenging like a devil situation, which can be someone who is not thinking of your higher good and they're trying to block you, you have the wherewithal to overcome this, and that was the main message here. And the last and most important thing was to rest. At the end of this sort of journey of dreams, I went back to sleep and I'm like, what else do I need to see or know? And basically Spirit said, just listen, look and listen. What do you hear? What do you see? Particularly when it comes to nature, they wanted me to know like what birds, what insects, etc. And just enjoy. So I chose one of the most relaxing cards in the minor arcana, the Four of Swords. And we don't give ourselves enough opportunity to do this particular minor arcana card, not in today's society. So when I do a live reading, I put everything on Do Not Disturb. There should be some times where we do that for ourselves. We just go outside and relax. Today in LA, it's pretty windy. I had to move my all of my pots off the front porch here because they were going to blow over. But on a normal day where it's just nice and calm outside, give yourself a chance to meditate and stop, reflect, and also integrate, because when we're in this sort of rush, we don't have a chance to basically appreciate what wants to come through. All right, let's move on to the 7-day forecast. So in this particular one, we're going to go from today, Sunday, to next Sunday. And I already selected a deck that I want to use for this. Welcome everybody, great to see you. And here we go. Welcome to all the new members. Thank you to everybody that's gifting memberships. I did a mid-November reading where I allowed for some interaction with members, so I might do that more in the coming weeks. And if I do any of my celestial videos, I might open them up to member questions as well. So we'll see what comes through. All right, let me focus on the cards here. Okay, let's get started here. We're going to begin with the energy for this Sunday. It was an awesome card that came through. We have the Magician. So this is a really good day to put your intention into something and your attention. And if we combine this with the daily card pull that I pulled yesterday, Ace of Pentacles reversed, the main thing that I put at the end was focus. And so we're getting even an additional level on this. The reason you want to focus is the Magician is really like, it's a jack of all trades. They can put their energy in anything, but can sometimes overextend and things get diluted. So really pick the area of your life that you want to see some movement in today, and believe in the possibilities, believe in miracles. So we have a little bit of the fairy godmother from, I forget which one, Cinderella. There's too many princesses. I'm like, which one had the mice? Yeah, so Cinderella. But anyway, there is the possibility for magic. The one thing that I don't like with this is the limiting things, because there was a time thing where like at midnight you go back to normal. So let's remove limits. We'll take a little something from this and say, sometimes we think this will only happen if, or when is this going to end? Take that out, because that manifests too. And just allow for magic to happen. No strings attached. You are capable of manifestation. Don't wait for the other shoe to fall. Don't wait for someone to disappoint you. Enjoy, embrace, and really kind of like allow for yourself to just feel a moment of, wow, I did that. Okay, so that's the only thing that I would say with that. Otherwise, it's great. We love the Magician. Great day for beginning something new. Great day for spiritual practice. Great day for connecting to source energy. Really, sky's the limit with this. All right, let's get into tomorrow, Monday. So we have the King of Swords in reverse. You may be asked to speak up. You may need to speak up against something. Even though we don't see it in the cards here, we know that there could be that sort of devil energy that pops into any one of the days because of the download that I got. So if somebody does something that is, not right, or is trying to kind of like shut down your ability to speak, you're going to say, sorry, that's not the way it works, and speak from a place of truth and light, honesty. Here's the thing with the King of Swords or Queen of Swords reversed. They are concise, they are honest. Sometimes they are very, very clear to a blunt point, but it's important to do that sometimes. So no is a word and a sentence altogether, a complete sentence. So if you need to say no, say no. And if someone is doing something that's wrong, say stop. Both of those words, you can just have stop, period. And that's a command, it's a statement, it's a word, it's clear. So that's what a King or Queen of Swords will do. There's no kind of like kid gloves. At some point, you know exactly where you stand. So you may need to do that. It doesn't make you cruel. It doesn't make you mean. It makes you confident and clear and concise. And that's what I'm getting with that. This is also a really good day for editing, revising, reflecting. We got a little bit of that messaging coming through from the channel messages as well. This is also super clear coming from source. It's like, if there's something you need to finish, this is the day to do it. Like basically get to work and finish what you need to finish, okay? And that's what I got for this day. It's pretty strong, but I don't think it's negative. I just think it's kind of get finished, say what you mean, do what you say you're gonna do, and hopefully others are doing the same, and if not, speak up. All right, the Eight of Swords. Oh, one last thing with this. Don't be overly critical of yourself or others. It has to have a constructive element. That was one thing that I did talk about in the channel messages. All right, so that was Monday. Let's move on to Tuesday. Eight of Swords in reverse, enlightenment. So basically the blinders are coming off. You may hear or see something you don't want to see, but it's coming through nonetheless. And you can't hide from the truth. We see someone here kind of afraid. Sometimes the Eight of Swords is something where we paint ourselves in the corner or pull the covers over our heads, and it's like, I don't want to see it, I want to deal with it. And this card is just saying, the sooner you deal with it, the sooner you do it, the freer you will become, the easier it will be. So again, seeing or knowing something that you maybe preferred that you didn't, but nonetheless it's there. If something blocked or eluded you or was difficult before, it's not on Tuesday. So take a closer look, take a look again. And you'll be maybe sort of like, not necessarily surprised, but a little bit relaxed and a little bit sort of like feeling like, oh, finally, there's a breakthrough. So I feel like that's one of the days when a breakthrough is possible. All right, the pace starts to pick up in the middle of the week. So when we're looking at Wednesday, a lot's happening. It's fast pace. So this is a day where you don't want to hit the snooze button. It's a day where you want to try to be aware of your surroundings. And it is important to take breaks, but the overarching energy is that of movement, communication, and action. It's a really great day to send a message in any format, written, electronic, or nonverbal. It gets to the recipient and it gets there quickly. And if there has been any delays previously, try again on Wednesday because the other person seems to be a little bit more open. And again, kind of like a continuation of communication's a big thing this week, but if you sent a message on Monday, you may hear back on Wednesday. So just be open, and definitely this is a day to speak your mind and listen. Okay, let's take a look now at Thursday. Lots happening this week prior to holidays and everything, but some of you are traveling. This makes sense because I think is Thursday U.S. Thanksgiving. I'm going to double check on my calendar, but I think so. Let's see. Yeah, I was right. So no, Friday. No, it's Thursday. Okay, good. So yes, some of you in the States and whoever else celebrates might be traveling for that. But for the rest of the world that doesn't celebrate the holiday, this is a really expansive card. So yes, travel's a part of it, but it's also a card of expansion. It's a chance for you to get the word out. It's a great time to see things from a bigger point of view. Great day to finish stuff. The World card is one of the best in the major arcana because it's the last. So something's coming to a close and things are really starting to come into focus. And usually when this comes through, there's a question mark from the universe, which is, now what? What's the next level? How big do you want to go? How far do you want to go with something? So a very productive day for those that are working, and for those that are traveling, obviously that energy is comprised here. And if you are together with people that you love on this day, try to bring it up to a higher focus, because I've definitely been at family gatherings where things go into conversations that aren't great. So always bring it up into a wide angle lens. So whether it's someone pressuring someone to, like, what's going on, or why aren't you dating someone, or it goes to politics or something else, bring the lens up and say, you know what, it's just so great to spend some time with you. What's going on with you? Redirect, go higher. And that's really what the world is saying. So a little bit of advice for those of you that are dealing with family on that day. Take a step back and get a higher view. All right, looking at Friday. Okay, we have coming down off the high of the holiday. It makes a lot of sense, actually, for those of you that were celebrating. For everybody else, Three of Cups in reverse. It's basically saying moderation is your friend, because the Three of Cups is a card of celebration, partying, and maybe over-consuming. Too much to drink, too much to eat. You were up too late. This can be 3 cups of coffee the next day that you might need. So just take it easy. Don't overdo anything. Friday is a good day to hang out. Some of you, though, may be feeling like you just need a little bit of you time, and I'm all for that. But if you do decide to go out, especially if this is just about being shy, good things await. The Three of Cups is typically a good card, even reversed. The only thing you want to avoid with this is gossip, cliques, or any exclusionary sort of people that just don't they don't want you to be a part of something. You're better off not connecting with them anyway. But moderation and moderation is the main key. But for those of you that are a little shy and there is an invitation, it might be worth accepting that invitation. You never know what might be awaiting you. Okay, kind of funny that they were right around Thanksgiving in the US here. But for everyone else, a really nice Thursday and Friday. These aren't good cards generally. Okay, going into next Saturday. Yes, next Saturday. We have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is reversed. So sometimes we get into our own headspace a little bit too much on something. And remember, with both the High Priestess and the Hierophant this week, you know what you need to be doing. And if you feel good about it, if you've done the homework, if you see it here and feel it here, and then know it as well, just take the pen to paper, or the paintbrush in this particular deck, and make it happen. Paint with a broad stroke. Just allow for something to begin. So I think for many of you, this is just a push, a gentle push, like a mother bird with a baby bird saying, it's time to fly. Open your mind, because Ace of Wands in reverse can feel like it's blocked, but it's not necessarily. I talked about this, I think, in either Libra or Scorpio, but I was listening to this interview where Alanis Morissette was saying she didn't believe in writer's block. She just, eats a sandwich or takes a walk or takes a nap and then comes back and tries again. And a lot of her songs are very much like stream of consciousness, particularly after Jagged Little Pill, where she learned to kind of just connect with that energy and go for it. And so I think that we could all take a lesson to just kind of like it's a draft. You can always go from that first draft somewhere else. So just get it down on paper, and maybe it's magical and you're just overthinking it. All right, we have King of Pentacles here a week from today. So whatever blocks might have come through, you're not going to feel it by the end of the week. This is a great card for business, money, personal development, and family. And it's also great for home improvement too, because this can be the card of like family and home. So you can basically see movement in anything next week, next Sunday. But the only thing that you want to be mindful of is kind of like the Ten of Wands. You don't need to shoulder the burden. So we see here the King of Pentacles representing like the world. It's interesting that we got the world coming through a few days earlier, but you don't have to hold up the weight of the world. So make sure that you're not overachieving, overcompensating, extending your resources, because you need a little bit too. Okay. Highlights and lowlights, and then we'll move on to the elemental portion of this. So the highlights this week. Today is a highlight. The Magician is basically saying focus your intention and your energy, and great things can happen. Thursday is a highlight. The World is, again, the end of the major arcana, big developments, big movement. And I would say Sunday of next week is a big highlight too, because all the work that you've been doing really pays off. The most challenging day probably is Tuesday, because you may just be, again, dealing with something that you don't want to deal with, but Spirit's coming through and saying, better now than later. And it feels like there's a little bit of recalibration at the very beginning of the week, and otherwise it's fairly manageable. All right, so we are now going to go into the elemental breakdown, which is fire, earth, air, and water. And let me just get the cards arranged here. And I like to just skip around with the different decks here. So let me see which ones that I pulled up. Okay, we're going to use this one. Let's see what's going on. This is the only portion that will be specific to particular signs. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, let's get started with fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Picking and choosing battles wisely. Five of Swords has to do with people in your life, conversations that are happening where it's just not worth trying to be right or point fingers, or even get someone to basically be accountable because they're not ready. So the biggest piece of advice I can give to all fire signs is this week, if someone has cotton in their ears and is only speaking over you, speaking to you, or maybe trying to push your buttons, you're just going to take a step back and focus your energy elsewhere. This card can also be you not giving yourself enough credit for certain things and constantly sort of berating yourself. That happens sometimes, the inner saboteur coming out. So know that you've done better than this voice may say. And if you feel like that inner saboteur is coming out, take to note like that channeled messages that I had earlier, where it was basically about writing the positive notes. Think about all the good stuff you've done recently, and then speak back to that voice and say, you know what, actually, I'm doing all right. So figuratively or in real life, you may have that sort of pushing back and saying, that's your opinion, but it's not mine. And that's the best advice on this one. The other one is when it just comes to active listening, make sure that what you heard is actually what was intended to come across. So you can always ask someone else, especially if it triggers you, what do you mean by that? And that's not, you don't have to even say it in a tone, just say, help me understand what you're trying to say. Because if it may just be a miscommunication, you'll say, oh, I'm glad I asked, because otherwise that sounded outlandish. So get clarification. That's it. Just focus on clear communication this week. And you know that as we were looking at the different cards, Wednesday was a really good day for that because we had the Knight of Swords. All right, let's move on from the fire signs to Earth. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It's a good week for gentle growth here with the Seven of Pentacles. Slow, steady, healing and growth. For those of you that might be overcoming something, either emotional or physical, if you're trying to see your resources start to grow, we see it heading in the right direction. As I've been saying across all the different messages today, don't overextend. Keep your focus. Be patient. Patience is often not a virtue of the Seven of Pentacles, so it might be something you have to bring to the stage. But you're heading in the right direction. Things are going where they need to. But this can come on the heels of difficulty or maybe something where you wish you had made a better decision, but now you're making better decisions, and this week is opening up more opportunities. Okay, good. So generally speaking, I like what I see there. Let me see if there's anything else with this one. It's just a perspective card too. The traditional one has this guy looking at, everything growing, and he wishes it would happen faster. Time doesn't matter. It's what you're getting out of that time and out of that experience that does. Moving to air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You're showing up with the energy of today here, the Magician, but the Magician's reversed. Discernment is part of any Magician card, but especially a reversed one. He doesn't have to use all the elements we see in front of him. He needs to focus on the single thing that he can make the biggest impact in, or that he feels most connected to. And in doing so, the energy starts to flow more easily. Also, cutting down on distractions and temptations and all of that jazz will help out with this as well. And not second guessing your abilities. Easier said than done. Obviously, I'll say these things and then you'll think about like bigger ways to kind of help yourself on that. But self-worth, self-confidence, faith, hope, all of those things are going to be a part of empowering the Magician. But anything you set your mind to, you can do as long as you believe in yourself and stay focused. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, possibly the best of the bunch here with the star card. So this is really what today's reading is about, is connecting to your higher self, connecting to source, and that's what the star represents. The Hermit is a way station, kind of, or a wayfinder for the star because he has it in his lantern. So that was one of the things that came through. You just have to trust in that. And star energy also asks you to be authentic, without apologies, just sort of like be yourself, and people can take it or leave it. But it's sort of an opportunity for them to rise up or fall away. And then you can kind of clear the path and know who you should be connecting with, and then what you should be focusing on. Illumination, inspiration, all of that is coming through with the star card as well. Okay, great week for spiritual development. Great card for today's special topic. All right, folks, now we're actually going to get into that special topic, which is messages from your higher self. I've never done this particular one. I've done like from your guides, from the angels, from the departed, but this one's like, what do you want to say to yourself, which is why I had you writing an introduction for yourself earlier. All right, let me see which deck I want to use for this. As I'm getting organized on this, do me a favor, if you enjoy this, hit the subscribe button and give me one thumbs up. I do appreciate that. You can also give me a follow on social media. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down and make a selection. I may just use this one because it was kind of fun, but let's see here. I think it's between these two, so we're going to let the decks decide. All right, because I like both of them. They're shiny, etc. So let me pull a card from both. We'll let Spirit decide which one, by whichever one has the better card. All right, Page of Pentacles versus Death. Actually, Death is better, so we're going to use this deck. Okay. Okay, give me a moment here to get everything organized. And we're going to see what's coming through. Messages from yourself. Whatever you need to hear is going to come through. Interesting. Okay, we've got 2 on the outcome. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck. I'm glad I got to use this. Yeah, this is the Last Unicorn deck. I know Dakota already put the link there, but this is listed on my decks that I use page, so you can check it out there. It's not cheap, but but it's worth it. It's one of the nicer decks. And then watch the movie too, because it's related to the movie. Let me just turn up my AC and then I'll be right back and we'll get started. All right, here we go. So we have forgiveness playing an important role in this particular reading. This is your catalyst card. Service as well, whenever I see this Ascended Master. So when you serve, the universe serves you. Some of you may be called to teaching, giving back, maybe even going through people in your life and thinking, how can I help? How can I make a difference? And this card is really about that. But I looked at it and I thought forgiveness. And forgiving and loving yourself ultimately. And it's a connection card. If I were to connect this to major arcana, it would be like the Magician card because miracles. And it would also be like the Sun as well. So the Sun and the Magician energy. So confidence and belief in oneself are coming through again in different ways. Let's go ahead now and connect with your centermost card, which is the Nine of Wands. So this is setting the tone for this moment. Don't give up. So we see a very different version of the Nine of Wands. Typically, we would see someone who has pushed through barriers and has a bandage on their forehead and is sort of like, oh, but I'm going to finish this. But for a moment, they just have to sigh. And this one is about pushing through the limits of that final that sigh where you're like, why is it taking so long? Why me? Why am I not kind of experiencing, an easier time? And when we look at our life and the challenges that are going on, it's almost like you get a PhD when you go through some of the challenges. But one thing that the universe is telling you, and your higher self in particular, is maybe this pain and struggle is one teacher, but not the only, and not necessarily even the best. So push through this and then just say, I've learned my lesson, and it doesn't have to be so hard anymore. And sometimes just opening up to the idea that it could be easier is part of that. So it was the very last card, of course it was. Here's your traditional Nine of Wands. So that's what I was talking about. This person is kind of giving some side eye. There actually are some sassy cards in tarot, like on the Six of Wands, the horse is sassy. In this one, this person's giving side eye. And so we definitely get a little bit of the emotions coming through here. So don't give up. Don't get sassy. Just kind of focus on what matters and take care of yourself, because you may feel trapped when you're not really trapped. Now, if we look at the unicorn behind this sort of prison, there's a way out. There's a way through. It's just about imagining what that might be and not giving up. Okay? So it's worth it because we're getting a reappearance of the star here, because this is your moment to shine. That's really what your higher self wants you to know, whether it's through leading by example. So let's say you are dealing with people that kind of give you a headache like this. You're going to come through and help if it's showing. You're going to come through and basically show them exactly how this is done. You're going to lead even when other people don't know how to act, what to say, what they should be doing. You're going to show. So show up. Lead by example, be yourself, be authentic, and if you need to, move in a different direction. But finish what you've started. That's the main thing. Finish what you've started. You've got what it takes. It's your moment to shine when we put these two together, different context. Now we have the Magician, and he's in the upright position, which is helping you see the true potential for those of you that received the Magician reversed. So now it's a chance for you just to say, what do I want to do? That's the real question here. There's a little bit of intention. So now we've gone from needing to focus and needing to believe to just setting an intention and doing it, okay? And that's really all you have to focus on in this moment. And the other thing here is anything that you have to deal with, know that on some level, you've either called it in or done it in another lifetime, so you're going to figure it out. Fake it till you make it, because the Magician is going to help you find a way to make it work, okay? All of this leads you to possibly love or support or friendship or inspiration or happiness. We have the Ace of Cups in the recent past. So your higher self is saying you deserve to be happy. It's not just a cup, it's a fountain in this particular deck, which I love. So you deserve love, abundance, and opportunity on, in the highest form and without limitation. So we often put way too many limits on what we should feel. Just allow things to flow through you, allow things to come to you as well. And for some of you, that could be love or an opportunity. Don't second guess it when it comes in your path. You've worked really hard for this moment in time, okay? So if love comes knocking, say, okay, hello. If opportunity comes knocking, say, thank you, I've worked for this. And lead, again, by example, by loving and respecting yourself and feeling the worth within. So there's more to come. The chapter's not done. The story's not done. It's kind of like that movie, The Never-Ending Story. As long as there's an idea, a dream, or a wish, and that's what this card represents, is wishing or dreaming and envisioning, then new things can happen. So what are you doing to actively put seeds in your garden of dreams? Because we should never be too old to sow a new seed of hope or passion or desire or possibility. And that's what the Two of Wands represents. I think this is why we needed to use a dreamy deck here. It's to take us out of the sort of practical. I'm not going to get all the same energy if I just have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but because we have magical unicorns on this, it's kind of like Spirit's pushing you to go beyond what's already been done as well, and beyond the predictable. So for those of you that have very practical parents, friends, or a society around you, this is saying, okay, that serves them and served them, but does it serve you? And if it doesn't, what do you want? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. The universe wants to present some opportunities, some energy for you, but it's almost as if there's hesitation. Again, can I do it? Is it possible? Do I deserve it? Also breaking the archetype and the template that was imposed upon you or projected upon you by friends and family. So the Ten of Pentacles can be peer and family and societal pressures. You must go to this school, you must date this person, you must do this by this certain age. Must you? Is it truly what you need? So you get a chance to break down some of that hierarchy and say, this is what I want. That's why you have to kind of like clarify the vision. Then the universe can show up and say, all right, here it is. So let's take away the pressure for times and quantities and achievements and all that jazz that has been kind of put out there, and really focus on what feels like home, because the Ten of Pentacles can represent the home. Usually we would see a family of many generations, a dog, the archway, and then the tree of life on this card. So it's home and things that bring stability. Not what brings stability to others, but what brings stability to you. So where do you feel at home? What makes you feel that sense of belonging? It's not necessarily what was good for mom, dad, grandpa, teacher, friend, or society, okay? Success is yours to have. So you're coming through successful. Maybe you didn't hear that from other people. I think you're a success. I think you've got it. You've got what it takes. Your higher self, more importantly. I'm just the channel giving you what your higher self wants or needs you to hear. So you can do this. If I had to break it down to, you can do this. Yeah, 3 or 4 words. So are you going to do it? And sometimes it means leading the charge. We don't see any other people in this. We just see him kind of going through doing what's right. So you're ready to do this. And I'm going to find the sassy, I'm pretty sure it's the 6 of Wands where the horse is looking back at the guy sort of saying, are we on board? Are you on board? So that's the only thing that could be holding you back is procrastination, self-doubt, or just maybe this fear of being seen, because it is a very visible card. But remember, this is like the second time we got the star card. Yeah, I was right. So in the traditional 6 of Wands, have you ever noticed we have the sassy horse? It's looking up, side eye. 2 cards with side eye. So the universe is kind of saying, are you on board? Are you ready? So are you on board? Are you ready? It does require kind of leading the charge. So sometimes you just have to do it before others have, and trust in your ability to be okay. What's going on around you? a lot, and it's going to require discernment. So we have the Six of Pentacles, which is basically from the get-go and understanding that there's too much and you're going to have to say no to some things. So typically we would see scales in this card, and the person has a bunch of hands reaching out for resources. We can kind of see her weighing these two options here. You have to decide what's most important to you and also where you can make the best impact. This, like the Two of Pentacles, can also represent something like a work-life balance that needs to come back into focus as well. When it comes to your resources, it's also saying you have what it takes. This is the minimal card that I look for success. So in the environment, you have enough. It's just a matter of choices that can help you. You may also be asked to choose between something that this is showing that money may not be enough as you're weighing the two choices, because we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles here. And we have this person weighing the two because she's touching those two cards. And again, this can be friends, and this can be family. This can be two different job options. And you really have to go within and think what makes sense to me. It's not about what looks good on paper or what others expect. Let me take a quick drink, and then we're going to talk about the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, hopes, fears, and opportunities. She's in the reverse state. So some of you have an opportunity to say what you want and what you need, because when upright, this is like a mothering and nurturing and sort of fostering card where you help others. When it's reversed, it's more about taking, receiving, or asking. And because we're looking at you and what you can do for yourself, don't be afraid, because this is in hopes and fears and possibilities. So don't be afraid to ask for what you want or what you need. Oftentimes you can receive it. Not always, but you never know unless you ask or until you ask. So if it's not enough, and maybe it's not, because here's the potential and here's the reality, then ask, and then we actually get something greater than the two of these with the Queen of Pentacles. So you could get more than you expect. This is especially true when it comes to salary negotiations or buying or selling. You can get more of a deal, or you can get more of a discount. Or if you're selling, you can get more. You can just say, no, this is worth more than that. So push back until you receive what you need. If this was somewhere else in a reading, it can represent someone that's too greedy or wants too much. It could still be in your energy. Remember, we had King of Swords energy coming through on Monday, pushing back on that. So reverse. So just say no to that. Let them know what is possible. But if it's you, it's time for you to kind of take care of yourself, okay? Now you got two cards coming through in the outcome, and the presenting energy is balance. We have justice. The card beneath it is the antithesis of that. It's going to an extreme, Nine of Cups in reverse. So this can be excess. This can be, we even see it here with the skeleton who's trying to drink, but he can't. Even when he's dead, he wants another drink. So it's kind of a cool illustration. When is enough enough? That's what this card is representing in a really cool way. And then this is basically asking you to find what's enough for you and to stand up to people that have an unrealistic sort of desire or hunger. It's like, when will it be satiated? You can't make everybody happy. So find what makes you happy, achieve a balance in your life, do what's right, push back on what isn't. Second time we got a balance card, because this is also balance. So work-life, resource balance, and then just balance in what feels right for you and standing up for what's right. Whether it's just sort of more figurative or it's legal or whatever, sometimes you have to stand up and defend yourself, especially when people just want to, go overboard or take and take. So it could be a little combination of both. As a just more general note, the Nine of Cups is a very sensitive card. Some of you may just feel this influx of emotions and heightened sensitivity and heightened intuition. So ground yourself and find the balance, and that's why justice was on top of that card. Okay, so what we're going to do now is extend the forecast and take a deeper look into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the energy of health and well-being, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And for that, we got sacred workspace. So this is your home or your office. And I can see why it comes through here because the Ten of Pentacles in reverse can show too much. We have a couple cards of extremes, Nine of Cups and Ten of Pentacles, both reversed. The Ten of Pentacles reverse can be too much material, too many material items, clutter. The Nine of Cups can be some things in your life energetically that don't remind you of good things. So whether it's in your home or in your workspace, look at stuff and think, do I have a good recollection or memory when I connect to that? Or does it remind me of times that I wish that I didn't have to remember? Then it might be time to find a new home, recycle, or simply release that object. It's also saying make a sacred space. This is how magic can happen. So whenever I move, I had to do that a lot last year. The first thing that I always did was set up this. I needed to have work and meditation space set up. And then I took way too long for it in this space, but eventually I got my bedroom. I think your office and your bedroom should happen at the same time because you need a place to rest. You need a place to work your magic. So make sure that both of those spaces at minimum in your home or in your life are put together because that's going to help open up potential. And until where you sleep and where you work are clear and where you worship are clear, then everything else gets foggy and it's hard to move from there. So clean and clear and create, because sometimes we don't have those spaces. Because we got a card of worship coming through, you may also be creating a room for or space for yoga, for meditation, for reflection. And that space, for those of you that don't have a lot in space in the house, it can be, putting a chair outside and just watching the day go by a little bit. You don't have to do anything special. It doesn't require a lot of money. Just intention, just a little space. When I was in college, I lived in a studio when I was in Boston, and I made a lot with a little bit of space, something like 450 square feet. So I was in a small space before, I understand. You can do a lot by separating and moving things to different corners. And so get creative is what that card is saying. Okay. Resetting this and just looking at the general cards for places you might want to focus your energy. This card, as I showed with the Rider-Waite-Smith one, can sometimes indicate that you might be dealing with pressure headaches, lack of focus. Again, some of that could be because there's distractions. Some of it could be because you're overworked. Take care of yourself. Get the rest that you need and really focus again on, it's the cranium in the brain. So it can be something where you're overthinking, or it can be like jaw or muscle pain or anything like that. Obviously, you'll work with a professional on those things, but take care of that. That's coming through. Let's see what else health-wise here. I think for some of you, you may also be looking at, is this too much or not enough? You might have outgrown a space, or there may be too much space, and you're weighing, should I stay, should I go? So that's a decision you get to make, but firming up the living environment seems really, really important. It always is, but especially so right now. Deciding once and for all to walk away from someone or something that is overwhelming or triggering. Some of you, this could be a toxic relationship. Some of you, this could be sobriety. Some of you, this can be just a decision to deal with emotions and talk to a therapist or something like that. But it's something that triggers, and you achieve balance because you've made a decision that enough is enough. And that's always something to be applauded. And you don't have to do that alone. We see cards of support here. I think that's pretty much it when I'm looking at this. The good news here when it comes to health is it looks like you can successfully make better decisions and accomplish balance in your life. All right, let's move on to the wealth card. We got the peacock, and we're going to talk about wealth here, which is resources, life, purpose, and career. So I read broadly first, not just for people that are working, because it's just your connection to worth that we're looking at here. So the peacock is bold. He puts up all of his feathers, tries to attract attention. A reverse peacock is kind of like a hermiting energy or a little bit shy. And when it comes to business, and when it comes to money, and when it comes to people valuing you and seeing your worth, you want to be more like the peacock. You want to show that you are confident and worthy and beautiful, because the peacock is beautiful. So this is a chance to kind of show your star power. Definitely connected to star energy. You can't be afraid to be seen. So this is working on getting comfortable in your own skin, which is going to be something that you do with yourself first. You have to really sit for a moment and say, this is who I am, and I'm cool with that, and I'm going to exhibit and exude that. And if other people aren't cool with that, then that's their loss. And then I'm going to find some people that are in my tribe of coolness. So it's to take it or leave it energy, but you have to make peace with it first here. And then you can kind of like show your peacock colors. Put the, whatever it is, the mane out there for show. Okay? Now let's take a look at this from an actual perspective of worth, self-worth, and then we'll look at it like on the different levels of employment and whatnot. We'll go super granular. Some of you aren't so worried about money or jobs or anything. This is just like, how can I be of service on this planet? How can I help others? How can I make a difference? You've kind of gone to the highest level, and that's fantastic because the fulfillment will kind of be more than enough. That's going to bring in opportunities. These two are not accidentally close to each other here. So when you feel like you're really making a difference and what you're doing is of utility to others, then it's just joy. That's the first payment. Don't limit what other resources might come through. Just because you're doing something of utility doesn't mean that abundance can't come your way. We don't have to have a vow of poverty just because you're of service. So if you want to give back, if you want to be philanthropic, great. But in order to be philanthropic, you need to make abundance. So that's what we see here, more than enough. And then you're keeping enough for yourself and then you're giving back. And ironically, more will come your way. So it's not about being broke. It's just about doing what matters, keeping what you need, giving what you don't, being a part of this beautiful cycle here. Okay. So that's a super high level message here. This is a month and a week to be a visionary, to reach high and to be a visionary. And this is, again, for everybody. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. And just decide, I put it in my channel messages, what do you stand for? What do you want? Because that way you can manifest. We have manifestation. We have your highest self coming through here. So this is a dream that is accomplished, that you had to work hard to get. And then you're going to say, I deserve this. Thank you, to the abundance that wants to come through. And we see success. I just see this as a really successful week and a really successful period. Let's break it down now. If you're working, hard work is being noticed. Hard work will pay off. For many of you, this is a period of success. The main thing here is overcoming the inner saboteur and just saying, yes, I deserve this. Yes, I'm ready. If you're feeling blocked, some of you might have been painted into a corner by your own thoughts or by someone else's expectations. And all you have to do is reach above or look above that limit. And then there's a new path that opens up for you. And you'll have to weigh out when and where you want to kind of take your first move. But we see a lot of cards of success here. Can it feel overwhelming? Absolutely. But can you do it? Yes. So it's really just a choice of deciding. When you're ready to decide, synchronicities want to open up. So you're either going to be seen or you're going to find a place where you are appreciated. There's really, your higher self said there's no option here. You're not going to fail. You're not failing. It's just about seeing different paths. You're not as limited as you think you might be. So if you want to move on, you can move on. If you want to stay, you can stay. But the main thing here is you have to feel like you can be yourself unedited a little bit. Okay. For those of you looking for work or for rebooting or just seeing like, how can I get out there? Obviously work your passion, especially true for students or for those that are coming back to the workforce. Work your passion, maybe do something on your own. I wish that was presented to me as an option more. So like I actually knew people after I graduated that were starting businesses, but I didn't think I would do something on my own. It took me like way too many years, 15 years to think, I think I just want to do my own thing. So I wish maybe I'd taken more business classes so that I would have gotten that bug a lot earlier. But know this, that one of the paths out there is you don't have to go through this. You don't have to go through that. You can do it on your own. Just get the skills and the wherewithal to do it. And it's possible. That's another outcome if you're trying to launch, relaunch, or re-enter the workforce. Success is subjective. Success is what brings you that sense of feeling like you're of utility and of service. You're doing something that brings you joy. You might not have all of the gold stars and awards, but if you feel that and you have enough and you have more than enough for yourself, then you're successful. It's about reframing what success is. It's not what your parents think. They're not going to be around for, like, parents, family. I'm at a point where they're not here, so I'm glad I'm doing what I want to do because it's just me now. So you have to eventually live for yourself too, and for making an impact on the world, because those structures may not always be there, and then you have to be happy with what you're doing. So what are the blocks if you're trying to re-enter the workplace? I think the main thing here is there may be something that is coming through that requires too much time or energy, and you really have to balance out, make sure that you're not feeling overwhelmed. There has to be time for you, time for rest. And if you're retired, there's a lot of requirements coming through from family, a lot of people with open hands, and you're a generous person. So, and this is the second time that it came through this month as I'm reading for signs, but we can see it. You have to decide, what can I make the biggest impact in, and make sure that you have enough for yourself too. Any caretaker, anybody that's generous, anybody that's a philanthropist, you still have to feed yourself at the end of the day. So make sure that you're not over providing or saying yes to everything and everyone. You have to also get the little baby birds out of the nest and make sure that they're able to do their own thing as well. Okay, and that's pretty much everything that I'm seeing here for wealth. It's a good time to make a splash, but you have to be willing to take that dive. So you're ready to take the dive. If you are, some great things are going to happen. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. Okay, so we have an interesting card here. You are not alone is your higher message from your higher self. But if the card were upright, we have suffering and silence. We have that feeling of isolation. The card reverse is coming out of your shell a little bit, and also speaking about how you feel when you feel it. We noticed that one of the things and one of the themes this week was communication. So I would say a way to overcome the suffering and silence card is when someone does or says something that isn't what was expected, maybe it was wrong, maybe it was hurtful, speak up then. Don't let it accumulate to the point that an outburst happens or that there's so much for them to take in. They're like, why didn't you say something sooner? So say it in real time when possible, or as soon as possible, so that you can correct or somehow sort of affect the trajectory, rather than it having to be like this, sort of like amazing amount for that person to absorb. Hopefully that makes sense. Speak up, speak often, and speak from the heart. Try to do it with empathy, of course, but we don't want you to suffer. We don't want them to suffer. Check in with others as well. If it feels like they're dealing with a lot, they may be dealing with a lot. Now we're going to break this down into 3 categories, starting first with those in a relationship, then those looking for love, then those that are happily single, just focusing on themselves. All right, if you are in a relationship, well, it's a pretty deep relationship. What I see with this is that there was immediate sort of energetic attraction for some of you. We have the Ace of Cups, so there still is love. One of you is kind of moving into an energy of being seen, rising up. So there's a star moment, a light bulb moment, a spotlight moment for one of you. But the other one may be having a difficult time with that because it's like, well, when is it my turn? That's kind of a natural human reflex. So what you're going to remind them is like, we're in this together. I really like that this is in the crowning position because it means that there's a vision of the two of you. So at least one of you sees that there's still something there to fight for. And this is the work that you've done to create something beautiful, the 10 of Pentacles. So what's getting in the way? It's ironically, it's success. You might both be succeeding equally, but it's tearing you in different directions. One of you might be doing more, and it's just about making sure that there's enough time for each other and reminding the partner, like attracts like. When I succeed, you succeed. When you succeed, I succeed. And we take turns, and sometimes we both do it at the same time, and neither time does it diminish from either of our lights. So mutual success is what the context is here, but it can be overwhelming. So that's one category. There could also just be this big spiritual awakening that one of you is experiencing here too. And it's a question, is the other person on the same path? And This is something where you just kind of are checking to say, like, what do you want? What are you looking for? The same way Spirit was asking that. Because we do diverge at different points in our life, and sometimes a relationship has done everything that it intended to do, and it's okay to say, I want to go this way and you want to go that way, and it can be amicable, because we don't have any cards here that show that it has to be anything other than that. It's just a decision. Do you still choose one another? And if you do, great, good things happen. If not, it's okay too. So a choice, where are you at? How can you achieve better balance in the relationship? But I actually see either twinning success or success on one partner or the other. And hopefully you can both just ride that wave of success. Okay? Let's reset it. If you're looking for love, the way to find love is through being that peacock, basically, shining, emanating, leading the charge, leading by example. Your partner is going to take note of you and come in and say, wow, this is someone that is doing the right thing that I can get behind. Could be a Libra. Could be also a Queen of Pentacles. Was it Queen of Pentacles? Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. So Earth sign. So we have a couple suitors for you as well. And you might have choices. So the other thing you can do is really be clear on what it is you're trying to bring in. In your own life, finish what you've started. Be as authentic and honest as possible. Focus on the horizon and focus on, again, your thoughts manifest. So if you feel worthy and ready, your partner sees that worthy and readiness and steps in. So it's a great time for partnership. This person may be really serious and may want to start a family because this is marriage and this is motherhood or fatherhood. So that's the only sort of caveat, especially with the Earth sign. It feels like they're very ready to get serious fast. So the other thing here is that it could be a lot to deal with because you've got maybe work success coming into the picture, and Nine of Cups in reverse can just be overwhelming. So finding balance is key. If you're single and happy, well, great, because what we see here is a chance to really get ahead when it comes to personal growth and finances. You might be selling a house and deciding to do other things. You might be focusing a little bit more on schooling or education, because we got the Hermit card when I was dreaming. So this is a really good time for personal development. And that's actually what's going on here in this core triptych of cards. So personal development, financial development, and spiritual development are all coming through really loud and clear. So yay. But by the way, don't be surprised if a good friend, a love interest, or someone new comes into the picture, because that's in the recent past, that's in the periphery. It's something that maybe has been waiting for your preparedness, and now it's coming through. What's it all about? Well, we have basically a combination of High Priestess and Magician with this, but the Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. And that was actually part of what I put on the channel messages here. So some of you are really just heading towards this sense of feeling comfortable in your skin, in your shoes, in your life. And it feels like every decade you hit, this gets a little stronger. So, you know, whether you're going from your teens to your 20s or your 30s to your 40s or your 60s to your 70s, whatever stage you're at, doesn't it always feel like, God, I know so much more now? It doesn't stop. You continue to go that way with every decade. But some of you are just on the precipice of really feeling like, I know what I want. I know who I am. And I feel like that's the biggest gift and the biggest sort of encouragement from your higher self is when you know what you want, you can do just about anything. When you don't, that's when the weird stuff happens. And that's when people come in and try to, you know, put a dangling carrot in front of you and say, well, how about this? Or try to use smoke and mirrors and get you to believe in that. But if you know what's right, what's wrong, and what you want, all that stuff is just, you know, it's theater and you can see beyond it. Let's go ahead and pull a single card for a big idea. And again, what's the one message that your higher self wants you to know before you step away from today's reading? And we'll still have one more question at the end, but this is an important one. Okay, so we got every balance card. You've got the Six of Pentacles, she holds the scale. You have the Two of Pentacles, he's trying to achieve balance. You've got Justice, balance. So 3 times it's come through in 3 different ways. So for some of you, it's balancing your finances. For some of you, it's looking at your schedule and making sure that you are not overdoing it. For some of you, it's prioritizing your health and your happiness and your rest and your body. Find the area of your life that is lacking, that is imbalanced, and focus on it for the next 7 days. That's your number one focus. Pick one of the elements. If you have a couple of areas, pick the one where you can make the biggest impact and create balance there. Because the Two of Pentacles, you need to pick one of the two to create an impact. So do the one that makes the most sense and through which you can see the biggest sort of impact. And keep me posted in the comments and let me know how it's going and how you're starting to feel towards the end of that week. But, excuse me, anything in your life that takes you out of your balance or out of your focus, there's also a message from the universe that that's not where you need to be putting energy or intention this week, okay? The train kept moving in my dreams from one stop to another. So you have to stay on the train and you have to each day kind of get up and say, well, let's see what this stop brings me. So that's it. It's balance. And each of you, there's a different balance because I got all of them. Making right choices, feeling like there's reciprocity. Like, again, there's so many areas that could need balance. Each of you is going to have to pick the point where you feel that you can make the most difference, the most impact. We're going to have one more card at the end. So the way that this works is we'll meditate together, but then I'll look at one last question. I do my best to navigate, but invariably there's always one thing where you're like, I also want to know about this. Good, save the question. We're going to meditate and then I'll look at it. If you're brand new, if you just joined, if you want to help and it's free, subscribe if you haven't, like if you haven't. I appreciate it. And if you want to give back through super sticker, super chat, gift a membership, become a member, you can do that as well. Let's go ahead and meditate together here, and then I'll get into the final card. For today's meditation, all right, let's take a look at all the cards on the table and see where we can make the biggest impact here. I mean, I really like the Ace of Cups. And I love all the water here because of the unicorn. There's a lot of water. So let's work with water today in the meditation. It'll come to me as we close our eyes. So first things first, I'd like you to just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. On this breath, think of the one thing in your life that you don't need or want anymore and let it go. We're going to do Two of Pentacles balance here. Think of the one thing that you need to create balance and call it in. Repeat this. And think, I don't need this, I do need this. Just keep, and it can be the same two things because you're basically going to empty out every last bit of what you don't want, and you're going to call closer or call into your being everything you do. And that's all you have to do on this. And as you're doing this, if you want to kind of help with the envisioning of it, imagine that you are sitting on a sunny beach of your choice. With each breath, you see the wave coming toward you. And you can see what the wave is bringing to you figuratively. And before the wave starts to pull out, you can imagine that you're tossing something into that wave, or you're just breathing it into the wave, and it's going back to source. You don't have to worry about what happens next. Just say, I don't need this. Someone else can take it. Let it go. Focus on something else. So you breathe in, the ocean brings something towards you. You exhale, you send it back. And that's all you have to do as I play the singing bowl. And then after that, we'll look at one final card. Keep breathing and just relax. One last deep breath, letting go again of whatever it is that no longer serves you, just feeling the sense now that you are absolutely complete and ready to receive. You are like that Ace of Cups. Let the world bring it in, right? Okay. If you will now, please open your eyes. Bring into your consciousness one question, just one, that you need clarity on, and let's see what comes through. Okay, so it's the Nine of Swords in reverse. And that basically means that fear doesn't have any more reason to have a seat at your table. And this is understanding that things are better than you think. But what you have to do first is focus on releasing the fear as a teacher and say, thank you for preparing me, for awakening me, for showing me what I need to focus on. But I'm not afraid anymore. And this doesn't serve me. So I'm ready now to just see things as they are. I'm going to prioritize sleep, self-care. I'm going to step away from stressful people and stressful situations, whether that's a boss that drives you nuts or a friend or a family member that you can't please. No more, at least for the next 7 days. Step away from that and just say, I don't have any more time or energy for this, because the resource balancing that we talked about, and especially that Queen of Swords energy in reverse that came through, or King of Swords, wasn't it? Is just about speaking up and saying enough. Enough, or no, or stop. You can use one word, or Just push it back, and enough is enough. And take care of yourself. If it's a yes or no, here's the thing. You have to go into your inner compass. If it reduces your stress, yeah, of course. If whatever it is that you're trying to do is the cause or the root of the stress, you need more time. You need to get more information. Like if you're trying to take a job, but it's going to require all of this like overtime and everything, is that what you want? So really kind of look at it. And it's also saying don't get in your own way. Don't let fear get in the way. But if you're doing anything that's going to increase your stress, I can pretty much say it's probably not worth it at this point in time. There are some things that we just learn to manage, so there's that. But mostly we're looking at 7 days here. So avoid things that increase stress. That's the main summary of that point. Okay? And focus on yourself, your self-care, yourself, nurturing energy. It's super important. All right, folks, what a magical reading today. Fun to use this deck too. I'll have to use it a little bit more often. So just a quick reminder of my schedule. I put new videos out every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I may adjust it this week because of Thanksgiving, so I'll probably move the Thursday one to either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on my schedule. So that's the only adjustment. I sometimes shift it around for holidays. Thank you so much. I'm going to talk about the supers in just a moment and the gifted membership. Someone just gave 100, which is amazing. God bless you. Thank you. I'll say thanks to everybody in just a moment. First things first, again, if you want to follow me on social media, that's a great way to know if I do an impromptu like I did with the mid-month collective. So it's always Nicholas Ashbaugh, no extra characters, no extra accounts. If anyone ever tries to offer you a reading or asks for money in direct messages, block, report, let me know about it. I don't do private readings. You can always go to my website if you missed something or you need more information or you want to get those official links. Okay, let's take a moment here just to give some gratitude to those that gave back. And again, I'm specifically focusing on anyone that gave with super stickers, super chat, etc. So I'll do my best to find everybody. I know Dakota's been great about saying thanks, and I appreciate that. And I always look at this on replay, so I will see it then. Okay, so let's begin first with memberships. I'm going to say welcome to all the newest members. And I'll do my best to see what's available in chat to see if I can see who gifted them. Okay, so for the newest members, those that have either joined or rejoined today, we have a decent amount, so I'm just going to say first names and attempt to pronounce them. KK Chamb, that's all that's available on the username. Thank you so much. Jean, Eli, Luliana, Elizabeth, Nicole, Gemini, spelled interestingly, I like that. Christy, Glows, AI Quinn, Stephanie, Evelyn, Gina, Baranda, and Georgia. Thank you guys so much for joining, rejoining, or simply for receiving a gifted membership. How cool is that? We have a really great community here, I have to say. All right, give me a moment here and I'm going to say thanks. Let's see if I can get into this. 1 second here. All right, so we're going to go into fan funding. I want to see if I can see who gifted them. It looks like I can see most of them. So Sophie, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. Lorna, thanks for being a member for 25 months. That's awesome. Let's see. Marussia, thank you for being a member for 28 months. Colette, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. Janet, thank you for gifting 1 membership. And let's see here real quick. Welcome to those newest members too, which I think I already said hello to. All right, now let me say thanks to all of those who gave back with super stickers or super chat. And if I missed anybody that gifted, maybe Dakota can let me know in chat, but I always see it on replay, like I said. All right, let me go from the beginning to the most recent. Georgianne, Alexandra, Rosemary, Lucy, Sathia, Enzo, Tracy, Robin, Lucy, LaRose, Nancy, and Amitabha. Special thanks to both Nancy, Elise, $100. That's amazing. Thank you. And LaRose for 50. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody, but you guys went above and beyond. So thank you for that as well. I think I got everybody here today. I hope I did. Thank you so much. I will, like I said, adjust my schedule a little bit this week, but I'll be back next weekend. And I appreciate all of your presence here. Tammy, thanks for that 20 as well. Thank you to Dakota for your help with moderation. And what a cool reading it was today. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Wishing you all the best now and always. Take care of yourself. Do something kind to yourself. We talked about self-care. I think that's something that would be great. So rest, meditate, take a walk, whatever it is. Much love and light now and always. Till I see you next time. Be well. Bye-bye.